Some people glorify the Nightmare Queen. Some people are humbled to know her. Some people are rightly afraid of her. Some people are honored to be protected by the shade of her. I have had physical, tangible experiences with this deity from a young age. There has been times that she protected me when I slept at night. There's been times where she walked through one wall and out another and gave me a fucking fright. There's times where I have been, unbeknownst, part of bigger plans. There's been times where the maker doesn't have the gentle hands. There's been times where humans think they know more than deities, you see. There's times when people think that they know what they're doing when they fuck around with the ASG. There's times where you're dealing with supernatural forces, alright? And I've been doing it when I was cognizant of it at a very young age, alright? People in my family are now hopefully beginning to see. When I was a child, they used to slag me for sitting, looking out a window and talking to my invisible friend. Or friends, whatever it may be. The water just moved, sorry. Confirmation from Spirit Team. I am a psychic. I am a channel. I am a medium, alright? And I also do get direct deity downloads. And people have seen it happen on screen because they tried to target me. And when it happened, it gave us all a fright. I try, for the most part, not to make people uncomfortable, you see. But then again, people have always seen that there was something deep inside me. And they felt like they had to claw in and understand more. And they had to try and pull that out so that they could see. Because clearly there was lies and more. Not everybody's entitled to a key in the back of your brain and a door. The most recent round of spiritual warfare has also involved psychological in the physical realm too. Some people are very, very silly when they use certain words because they don't know what they do. When you say things like, as above, so below, you better believe you have to be quite careful what deities you call when you're trying to put on a show. And I'm not trying to put on a show, you see. My spirituality is very authentic, and some people are realizing that the hardest of ways, unfortunately. And I'm not joking, alright? I have been treated like a social experiment multiple times. Not my first rodeo, alright? What I will say though is when it comes to people who are trying to equalize out energy that isn't equal to begin with, you see. Be careful those who actually do try their best to understand the Brehon mentality. Those who often take less but give more are people who understand that gold can't walk with you through a certain door. And some doors will never be opened to others, you see. Some of us will do the work on this realm though, so that we have frequent flyer miles and VIP access on the other side when it comes to certain realms and spheres respectively. The more that science catches up, okay, the more we're seeing that the mirror universe is being put away. Thank goodness for that one. I've been telling people to lay off the mirror magic for years. I'm very careful with what mirrors I look in because of other people's fears. I'm quite careful with the protection magics I put on mirrors as best I can too. But I also know that people who are intent on causing harm will always find a way to try and push through. The level of protection breaches that have happened this year specifically, more than any other year to date, has always been a result of people being full of fear and hate. And what happens is when people realize that you have grown in their absence, you see, well then that means that they also have more work to do unless they can challenge you and make you feel lesser, unfortunately. My flow on my words is something that I have always wanted. But from a young child, I have been haunted. I've had nightmares from my earliest of ages. I've had complete and utter random shit happen at many a life stages. And people used to slag me when I was a teenager, alright? You know, I always hung around with the older kids. Some people thought it wasn't right. But then again, from a kid I was always called an old soul, you see. And that's part of the problem. Unfortunately. I'm very cognizant that when people invade my energy, a lot of the time it's people who have less emotional maturity. The times where I am acting out and melting down or having displays, it's often because people who have less emotional intelligence, who are also a spiritual practitioner, are trying to force delays. Or try and swap the energy out, you see, so that they can wear my energy and be abundant and leave me with nothing, respectfully. I'm kind of done with being challenged to this point. The amount of times that I let people have their say and elevate others and platform others, and then they don't treat me right. And I'm supposed to just accept that, you see. Because apparently I'm nothing, right? Somebody has been trying to do so much non-consensual magics, particularly in the last year, okay? And I've been breaking bindings for long times, but the amount that I've broken this year, they never thought would happen, especially not in this way. Some people have been harvesting off me for a very long time. And then they wanted to get me caught up and thrown under the bus for their crime. Somebody's afraid of doing time. Somebody's afraid of the previous actions they can't rewind. Somebody is afraid of all of the moments where they chose not to be kind. Someone is afraid of the illumination that others see. Somebody's afraid of somebody else's cleaning spiritual ability. Somebody else is afraid of the fact that patterns are very, very well understood. Someone else is learning that not all who are official are good. Someone else is learning that not all magic is wrong. Someone else is learning that protective magics can be strong. Someone else is learning that a direct word to the abuser is often better than lies behind the scenes. Somebody else is learning that smearing other people's names will not indefinitely elevate other people's dreams. Someone else is learning that space isn't all as it seems. Apparently I need to say hiya, Houston. Hope things are going okay behind the scenes. There's a high-level management person in NASA who needs to fucking put a pair of belt on his jeans. People are really annoyed at having to deal with him bending over and seeing his ass crack in meetings, please. Sorry. Excuse me. The Irish gods are many things, you see. And a champion can do many things, respectfully. I've previously said I am a personal practitioner who believes that science is magic we don't well, flip it reverse, pardon me. Magic is science we don't understand yet. And, you know, apparently some high-level CEOs have that one as a bet. I miss the ability to have a kitchen of my own, where I can bake and host and have parties of my own. I miss having space so that other people feel comfortable and we laugh and sing together. I miss having space where people let down their barriers and that we can share and grow and understand that things can get better. I miss having friends who don't treat me as second best. I miss having partners who take advantage and then leave me for the next. I miss having space where I feel safe to be me. I miss being able to sit and just have company with a friend and watch TV. I miss feeling safe in my own skin in this world. I miss all the possible paths of a lifetime that never got to unfurl. I miss when people would treat me with a smile and care. I miss when people understood how much I just hold them dear. But anytime I get around certain people again, you see, it brings out the demons in them because they can't look at me. I miss being around people who want to elevate others. I miss being around people who aren't afraid to fucking stand up to their mothers. I miss being around people who understand that medication isn't all. I miss being around people who will not force other people into subjugation and try and dominate them and make them fall. I miss being around people who can't be tempted by greed to betray, possibly, the dearest heart who was ever manifested in to be supportive of you. I miss being around people who will say it to my face. I miss being around people who don't whisper in DMs rather than deal with the shame of their disgrace. I miss being around people who know that even when I ask questions, I am asking you to consider how you present, you see. Sometimes the person asking the question knows more than they are letting on, respectfully. I miss being around people who know when things aren't right, will jump into action without ego and use intellect to make it right. I miss being around people who don't need the song and the dance and the glory. I miss being around people who like a fire and a story. I miss being around people who see the world a certain way. I miss being around people who understand the properties of clay. I miss being around people who know that 4 pages printed for a year, then burnt in a fire, can be powerful and dear. I miss being around people who are willing to say what's wrong to put it right. I miss being around people who will do their research and be diligent and do it right. I miss being around people who understand that diversity is a joy. I miss being around people who understand that not everybody is a girl or a boy. I miss being around people who know what it's like to be the kind of person that fights so hard for others but doesn't get treated right. I miss being around people where it's safe for me to put my bag down. I miss being around people who will laugh and play the clown. I miss being around people who know that life is hard. I miss being around people who understand the value of a card. I miss being around people who are willing to do the work and change and grow. I miss being around people who give mutual care and aren't afraid to let it show. I miss being around people who see art as the language of the heart, without the ego before anybody else will start. I miss being around people who are willing to credit me. But then again, how can I do that when there's so many taking already? I'm being told to pause, and I'm going to my wicker basket with my decks. I'm going to come back, and good luck with whatever happens next. I got nudged to crack a book before I pulled the diabolical deck. One word was all I needed. Maca, so get fact. When I do work with this type of energy, it's actually trying to pull it out of the souls who are wounded by people who damage you. And I'm trying to help us find a new way forward, you see. My keyboard just lit up. Interesting, respectfully. When I deal with certain energies, it's because I'm tasked to do it, okay? I don't make dodgy dealings with the devils, but I'll definitely send them back to where they need to be each and every day. As best I can, you see, because again, I'm just a human, respectfully. But I'm also a dedicant on the Irish path authentically. And I am a spiritual practitioner, and I do strive for integrity. I've been deliberately kept from my path for very long times, you see. Apparently the delay tactic started when I was 3. Some people will never be happy with the fact that I'll never carry another name that I used to be known by, okay? Self-preservation comes in many ways, okay? If anybody thinks I don't know God because I don't want to be known by the name that I was baptized with, okay. Many gods know my names every day. And I recommend anybody who goes to try and pry into those shadows ever again, don't do it. The nightmares are strong, my friend. Don't do it. No admittance except on party business, you see. The past is the past, unless you're going to use it to try and weaponize it against me. And anybody who tries to weaponize my past against me, watch out, alright? Activist, not a victim. Keep that in your head straight, alright? Apparently that's the only thing that's straight about me around here. But some men are welcome. They better be careful how they move though, okay? Protect our energy at the end of the day. Ancestors, deity, spirit team specifically, Tá Lánarm, Tá Gram, Tá Crearm, Donna Samaka, agus Donna Sastak Moshe the Hulle. A tisket, a tasket, to hell in a handbasket. This energy is sent back like a slingshot, dark deeds in a casket. Part of the reason why so many people have tried to eliminate me once more, you see. I'm very cognizant of what's being done in my shadow by other people, respectfully. And people who don't realize and think that this is, oh no, they're in spiritual psychosis. Don't play those games with me. Red Rover, these red flags are a game over. Don't repeat toxic patterns, you see. The wounds of the past indicate who we attract while we heal. Some people will force you back into your wounds, okay? Deliberately, in order to de-escalate your rapid forward motion and to trauma bond you back into bindings that aren't supposed to be and aren't healthy, respectfully. Someone's in their feelings about you. This past person is not it. Don't let them destabilize you. Remember the peace after they were gone, or do you? This is part of the problem with high-level practitioners, okay? A lot of them do mental magics and mind manipulations in order to help you to forget what they did, whether it be last year, 10 years ago, or even just yesterday. Some of them are really good at this, okay? This is why you have to have such a sharp mind. But it's also important to try and be kind. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Someone is trying to get you to be mean. You aren't that kind of professional. Toxic, fragile masculinity, no thank you please. Someone is dripping poison in your ears. It's because your success they fear. Keep speaking your truth loud and clear. Have no fear. When it comes to have no fear, you see, I think that's part of the problem, respectfully. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, you see. Accept compliments with grace and dignity. Some people were petty enough to not even want me being able to sort out my dentistry, because that would make me more perceptively aesthetically pleasing to some of you. The amount of people who, even, you know, whether I was dressed mask or femme, when I put on the glad rags, whatever it may be, don't know what it is. I get bullied so much, respectfully. Enough is enough when it comes to this behaviour. Call time and try a new flavour of life with care and balance, you see. Leave this sucker in the mud, if you ask me. Some people get so used to vamping off other people's energies for long times, alright, that they sometimes forget that it was never theirs to begin with. And when they realise, then they have the fright. Because what happens is, when you actually get to the point where you extract yourself enough, you see, they're so suddenly sat there dealing with their own inner child that they never looked after or didn't fully invest in to the level of healing that should be. Someone is a horror fan, so they try to turn you into a victim, movie style. Oh man, that's creepy. Give it a rest, my man. Misery is not the plan. Was for somebody out there, you see. Psychic, channel, intuitive, investigator, respectfully. Someone is lying about you. They don't understand how you care about other people. That's not your issue. This person needs more emotional intelligence, respectfully, it's true. Do you know I made this deck within an hour? After a year of pain, the final tower. Part of the reason why so many people are stressed, you see, is I've actually outstripped many other people in the tarot community, respectfully. And some of them I haven't, and that's true too, because peers, I acknowledge and I respect you. But the level of people who have challenged me personally, don't know why. Just got a word. Pirates are trying to steal that booty. Laugh in their faces, even if it's tooty. It's a time of growth. Look inside you. Choose what is best for your long-term goals too. Some people have started to realize, okay, a lot of my career moves, even though some of them weren't big jumps, it's because everybody else always tried to get in the way. And some people thought that I was only successful by association with other people. I was around. And now that I've not been around, people have started to realise things have started to go to ground. The amount of people who, again, psychic, who is saying, I wish so-and-so was still here. Different name, same soul, my dear. Somebody has an issue with trans people, all told. Somebody else has an issue with trans people who refuse to be bought or sold. Somebody else has an issue with trans people who find other people's dirty, laundered gold. Somebody else has an issue with trans people who choose to be brave and bold. Or is it that you just don't like this one? Okay? Because there's been a hefty dose of that in the last 12 months too, okay? Anyone but this one. Anyone but this one. Okay. If that's how you feel, keep walking away. The amount of things I've learned from letting people think that they could get away with it hurting me. Shady. Thanks for the lessons. Somebody is trying to insinuate that I require talismans, fetches, whatever it may be. They do help. I barely do spell work, actually. A lot of the spell work I do is protective magics through and through. Or if I have to call judgment on practitioners who have done the most, I will do that too. You better want to hope that I don't call judgment on you, okay? Some people are finding out the hardest of way. Some people throw the word judgment around like it's candy. I'm very careful with the word. And I think that's dandy. There's people who, in the physical 3D, get to call judgment every day. And those people are very, very high-ranking professionals in their spheres, and I respect those boundaries each and every day. However, some people have tried to call judgment in the spiritual, and they didn't have the ranking, it's true. Some people called judgment and didn't realize the judgment was not who they thought it would be, true and true. I'm being told to knock and split the deck. And whoever is in charge of the operation is an arrogant feck. How dare they try to be your enemy? This hater is actually a fan, unfortunately. They are trying your last nerve to the very end. If you want to know more, invite me to a meal. What's that saying? Important people are worth treating to a meal. You'd be amazed what you find out if you listen and sit. Your haters are in their mental trap, it's true. Wish them healing and learning, but push on through. Slán agus bannach Nadina Galer. Be careful with your righteous endurance when you dare.